Our program tonight is College Knowledge, Finding Scholarships, and Making the College Decision with Joseph Donor from the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. Here is Joseph.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Let me get my screen shared. Okay, so as you can see, I'll be focusing mostly on the topic of scholarships tonight, but of course I'll also be talking about the general college choice and college experience through this presentation. So as Barbara said, I am Joseph Donor. I am an ISA Corps member with the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. So what does that mean? What is ISAC? What do we do? Well, at ISAC, our mission statement is to provide Illinois students with information and assistance to help make education beyond high school more accessible and affordable. The Illinois Student Assistance Commission is the college access and financial aid agency in the state of Illinois, and we administer different scholarship, grant, prepaid tuition, and student loan repayment and forgiveness programs to Illinois students and residents.
Hey, Joseph, I apologize for interrupting. Will this deck be made available at the end?
A recording of the whole presentation will be made available at the end.
Okay, all right, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. And then, so this is a basic overview of what we're going to be talking about in this presentation today. We're going to talk about differences between what scholarships are and what grants are. We're going to be talking about different scholarship sources. We're going to be talking about scholarship applications. We're going to be talking about how to search and apply for scholarships and how to evaluate the worth of scholarships and figure out how those scholarships can help a student achieve college education. So there are two main types of financial aid. There are many different, more specific subtypes that we can get into later, but primarily there is gift aid, which comes in the form of grants and scholarships, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Gift aid is a gift. It is free. You do not have to pay it back. You do not have to work to earn it. Then you have self-help aid. Self-help aid is not free. It is aid that is either required to be paid back or earned through programs like the Federal Work-Study Program or federal student loans. These funds may be merit-based, need-based, or non-need-based, depending on the different scholarship or grant programs that you may run into. Work-study and student loans are exclusively need-based, however. Again, we're going to be focusing primarily on scholarships today and how you can use and apply those to your college education. Scholarships can be applied to expenses associated with attending school, any of a wide range of different kinds of expenses associated with attending school, from books and supplies to your tuition, fees, miscellaneous living expenses, anything that factors into the overall cost of what it takes to get you to college, on campus, and successfully going to college can be covered by scholarships. Many scholarships can be found locally in your own community. There are plenty of different scholarships here in the Arlington Heights area that are locally based, that are not very competitive and very easy to achieve. And no scholarship is too small. Of course, that's up to your own interpretation on how you may best want to spend your time, but there's no such thing as too little free money, if you ask me. And then, of course, after you've applied to a scholarship or started investigating a scholarship, you want to follow up with that scholarship organization to double check their specific rules and details about how they want to conduct their scholarship competition, what they want from you as a competitor, so on and so forth. So there are two main scholarship sources. The main source is institutional. That comes primarily from colleges and universities. Every single college and university, every accredited college and university at least has their own financial aid department, and their financial aid department runs in-house scholarship programs and scholarship competitions that students can participate in. Some of these scholarships may be academic, some may be need-based, some may be based in sports or in other sorts of activities. Some may be based in different departments. For example, you may have a chemistry scholarship or an art department scholarship, same as you may have a soccer scholarship or a lacrosse scholarship. The other main source of scholarships are other organizations. These could be local, state, or national organizations. Local organizations could be your local McDonald's may have its own scholarship program. Your local country club may have a scholarship program for employees. State scholarships include things like the Minority Teachers of Illinois Scholarship, that is a scholarship administered by the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, specifically to encourage more minority students to pursue teaching degrees. And then you can have national scholarships. These are things like the Coca-Cola scholarship, which is a scholarship for those students interested in going into chemistry or food sciences. Starbucks has an entrepreneurship scholarship that they offer to people pursuing business majors that have worked for Starbucks in the past. There are other various scholarships run by various national companies. And of course, there are even some federal level scholarships run by different departments of the federal government. Why are scholarships so important? Well, scholarships are so important because they make college more affordable. This is a very general breakdown of the costs of different kinds of colleges. Public two-year colleges, community colleges are of course cheapest. They have the cheapest amount of tuition and fees and room and board, and of course fees beyond room and board all added together there. And you can see the price steadily goes up as you go to public four-year in-state colleges, to public four-year out-of-state colleges, to private nonprofit four-year colleges, to for-profit colleges. Obviously, with these kinds of costs, as a student or as a parent, you want to be looking out for as many scholarships and as much help financially as you can possibly achieve. On the bottom of the screen, it mentions the MAP and Pell grants. Every year, on average, about $1.8 billion is awarded in MAP and Pell grants to students across the country and in the state of Illinois. MAP is a grant program specifically for students in the state of Illinois going to schools in the state of Illinois. And Pell Grant, the Pell Grant is geared towards all students. It's a federal grant awarded to all students in the country. Framing the value of scholarships. This is a very productive way to think about scholarships. If you spend several hours on a $1,000 scholarship application, you're effectively earning about $250 per hour if you actually achieve that scholarship. It's a good way to think of your cost-benefit analysis. If it only takes you a couple of hours to get a several $100 scholarship, that's worth your time. Obviously, if you have to spend a ton of time on very little money, that may not be worth your time, especially if you have better scholarship options that you could be working on at the same time. That said, be sure to, as you look at these scholarships, evaluate them, evaluate their worth, and apply for as many as you can afford to time-wise. You might be exactly what this scholarship program is looking for. You might absolutely sweep away the competition. Or in some cases, if the scholarship is small enough or obscure enough, you may be the only applicant. A lot of other students may have looked at it and thought, I don't want to put in that time, or, oh, I don't think I quite exactly fit what they're looking for. Don't think that way. Don't fall into those traps. Make sure you give it a shot if you think it's at all worth your time. So common application elements for scholarships include general information like demographics, extracurricular activities, and your level of involvement in them. These scholarships may be interested in the fact not just that you were in the chess club, but that you were the treasurer of the chess club on top of just being a member. That may generate a little more interest and help you get a little further in the competition. Some may be interested in your area of intended study. Again, as I mentioned before, with departmental scholarships and scholarships of that sort, They may want to know what major you're going for or what major you're interested in. They may want to know your financial need. They may want to get an idea of what your FAFSA looks like to determine your eligibility for a scholarship. And they may even want letters of recommendation from your teachers, from your employers, from members of your community, what have you. Something you'll see in almost all scholarships would be almost all scholarships look for your GPA and your academic record. They'll either want to see your actual full transcript or they'll ask you to self-report your GPA. They may also want to see essays and personal statements from students explaining why they're interested in this scholarship or why they think they should get this scholarship or what they would do with this scholarship and other similar prompts. There may also be additional elements beyond that, something like interviews for more competitive scholarships. There may be auditions for things such as performing arts scholarships or tryouts for things like athletic scholarships. And of course, there may be portfolios required for artistic scholarships and for writing scholarships. As you go around and search for scholarships, it's important to remember to start as early as you can. And if you haven't started and you feel like it's almost too late, don't think that way. It is never too late. It is never too late to be looking for scholarships, especially since it is very easy to compete for and earn scholarships while a student is in college or between their years in college over their summers. Again, be sure to apply to as many as you possibly can. Of course, value your time, but work in as many as you can as you are going through your college process and in the run-up to actually starting school. Keep close track of your deadlines. Make sure to write down when your scholarships are due and exactly what is due for those scholarships. You don't want to have to miss out on tons of free money because you sent an email a couple of days too late. Make sure to always proofread your applications. Even if you don't have to do a full essay, make sure that you've written full sentences, you've spelled things correctly, because those sorts of small mistakes will be what causes your scholarship application to be immediately tossed out. Make sure you submit all of the required documents for a scholarship. Don't skip on anything because, again, that will be a reason that your scholarship application will automatically be tossed out. You might have the best scholarship application ever, but if you miss out on a required document, then it doesn't matter. And of course, again, follow your own discretion and your own sense of value, but no amount of free money is too small. Finding scholarships. When it comes to searching for scholarships, it can be a little overwhelming. A good place to start is the websites of the colleges that you're interested in. They'll have financial aid pages that will be able to provide more detailed information about scholarships that they may specifically partner with or in-house scholarships that they may run themselves. Of course, you'll want to talk to them about what those institutional scholarships are versus the outside scholarships they're partnered with, so that you can get further details and get a better idea of how to go about applying for those scholarships. You've also got your high school websites and school counselors that can help you find more details about scholarships, especially local scholarships. Asking your school counselor directly is always a good idea, but many high schools in the area have their own websites, their own counseling websites, where the counselors will list these scholarships and have a running document of what scholarships are due when. You can also look into scholarships with your local community organizations or churches if your student volunteers with any of those. You can look at employer scholarships, both the parent's employer and the student's employer. Some employers offer scholarships for the students of their employees as an added benefit. And of course, Some students may work at a job that offers scholarships as another side benefit, such as McDonald's, Starbucks, or other similar places as we discussed earlier. The Illinois Student Assistance Commission also offers a free scholarship search engine. If you go to capax.com/ISAC, you will have access to a scholarship search engine that will help you find scholarships on a national level that you can apply to, regardless of where you may be going to school. A brief guide on how to find scholarships and scholarship information on college websites, using the University of Illinois website as an example here. Say you go to the University of Illinois website. This is usually the front page that greets you. In the top, along the top, usually in the top right corner, you see a financial aid link. You can go ahead and click on that financial aid link, and it takes you to the page for the Office of Student Financial Aid at the University of Illinois. After you get there, you go to the Types of Aid tab, or something similar if you're on a different college's website. It'll show you grants, scholarships, waivers, loans, employment, etc. Of course, you want the Scholarships tab, so you go ahead and click there. And it'll take you to a page that probably looks something like this, separating University of Illinois in-house scholarships from federal and state scholarships, from outside scholarships from private companies and organizations that University of Illinois partners with. So if you go to the outside scholarships tab, it'll show you a page something like this. A long list of different kinds of organizations and groups and companies that the University of Illinois has worked with before and finds to be trustworthy and legitimate that you can look into applying for these scholarships. You've got the American Indian College Fund. You've got several scholarships geared towards American Indians. You've got the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation for students wanting to go into astrophysics or who want to be astronauts. You, of course, have the Elks Foundation Scholarship. You've got the Harry S. Truman Scholarship, the Pullman Scholarship, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities Scholarship, etc., etc., etc. All kinds of scholarships here. And I guarantee you that if you look around enough, you will find one that is perfectly geared towards you, your interests, and your qualifications. While you're looking for scholarships, while you're out there exploring your options, you may come across scholarship scams. Some of these scams may even reach out to you directly. Some good rules of thumb to avoid getting taken in by these scammers is, first, of course, don't ever pay money to look for scholarships. There are many people, organizations, search engines that will help you find scholarships for free. Never pay to be helped to find them. Watch out for some of these basic warning signs of a scam. Here it says, we'll do all the work for you. We guarantee you a scholarship or your money back. You can't find this information anywhere. You're a scholarship finalist, but you never applied. All of these are certain signs of a scam, especially that last one, because it doesn't even make any sense. If you do encounter a scam like this, you may want to let your high school counselor know so that they know to avoid that organization or to avoid that email address in future. You may also want to let your friends know so that they also are aware and are able to avoid scams from that particular source. So talking about the FAFSA and alternative applications role in scholarships and in helping students get scholarships. The FAFSA, or the alternative application, is the first step in applying for financial aid for the vast majority of students. It takes about 30 minutes to complete, give or take, and it is completely free. To fill out the FAFSA, of course, you go to fafsa.gov, and to fill out the alternative app, you go to isac.org/alternative app. The vast majority of students will fill out the FAFSA, but the alternative app is an option for state of Illinois residents who are undocumented and unable to fill out the FAFSA. The FAFSA is required for some scholarships, so make sure you check on your scholarship requirements before you start filling out that application, especially if you haven't already done the FAFSA. Make sure you do the FAFSA before you apply to scholarships that require it, so that you can again make sure to have all of your documents lined up and good to go before you apply. Again, as I said before, if you look hard enough, there is a scholarship out there for everyone. In fact, there are almost always several scholarships out there for everyone, but it takes time and effort for you to find and choose the right ones for you. So starting the scholarship search, ask yourself what makes you you. What's important to you? What are you good at? What do you think you would be able to best? What do you think you as a student would best be able to sort of expound on and talk about in a scholarship application or in a scholarship essay? Is it your grades, your athletic abilities, perhaps your hobbies or extracurricular activities, maybe your religious affiliation or your volunteering or something along those lines? Something I'd recommend is to sit down at some point during your scholarship search process and identify what you think are your top 5 characteristics or aspects about yourself that make you who you are. What are the most important things to who you are as a student, as a person, that you can use as a way to help narrow your scholarship field and aim for things that you think you're best suited for? As I mentioned before, you can create an account with CapEx. Again, that's capex.com/ISAC. It is a completely free scholarship search program. You just need to go to that capex.com/ISAC URL there, create your password and email and provide your email address to get started. After you've started CapEx, you'll be able to go to your CapEx dashboard and start going to some of these tabs on the side to select colleges you're interested in to help you find the college in-house scholarships. You can start listing, you can go to the Find Scholarships tab down there, and you can start finding scholarships that you're interested in. As you search for scholarships, as you apply to scholarships, as you provide feedback to the website about different scholarships, the website will better be able to curate your scholarships and help you find scholarships that you're actually interested in and that you think you would have a good chance of succeeding in applying for. So what are some things you can do right now to look at scholarships and to start finding scholarships and organizing your scholarship search? One of the best things you can do is to create a college planning calendar. Regardless of how far along you are in the college process, creating a planning calendar can help. Laying out when your different college applications are due, when your choice deadlines are, when the FAFSA deadlines are for your different schools, laying out the different scholarships you'd like to apply for, the timeline you want to take on applying for those scholarships, how long you have to take, how many days you want to spend on those scholarships, and of course, each scholarship's respective due date. All of these things can be very useful and very helpful to write down somewhere so that you can keep close track of them and not miss any of these important deadlines, because every deadline missed is a missed opportunity for more scholarship money or for a better deal at one of the colleges that your student may be interested in. Again, use your discretion, but nothing is too big or too small to be considered. If you feel you aren't qualified enough for a scholarship, it may still be worth your time. You never know. And it's always worth a shot, especially for those big money scholarships. And some of those smaller scholarships can be worth a shot as well, because they have smaller pools of applicants and you have an even better chance of actually achieving those scholarships, even if they are on the smaller side. Again, depending on where you are in your college process, I encourage you to go on different college tours and visits. Virtual tours are also always a good option. But going in person is great because it allows you to actually meet some of the administrators and workers at these colleges and get a better on the ground picture of what their scholarship programs look like, how their application process works, and what you need to do to be able to succeed on that particular campus. Of course, you should check in with your school counselor, talk to them about what you're interested in terms of scholarships, what you're looking for, and what you think you can achieve, and they will be more than happy to help you find more options. And of course, never be afraid to ask questions of, again, your counselor, your teachers who may be willing to help you, college administrators and officials, anyone that you think could help you find more scholarships and help you get a better deal on your college costs. This is my contact information. If you have any issues, any difficulties, any road bumps, finding scholarships or evaluating college choices, I encourage you to reach out to me. You can also find all of this information online if you go to the ISAC website, or if you search Joseph Doner ISA Corps, it'll come up with a web page that has all of my information. I believe that the library also has my contact information listed under their college search information on their website. And if your student or you end up talking to a counselor at any of the local high schools in the area, they will likely put you through to me as well. So I am very easy to reach, either through phone number or email here, and I am always happy to answer any and all questions. Let's see, let's look at the questions we have here. So, University of Missouri. Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with their programs specifically. Obviously being a state of Illinois organization, ISAC deals a lot with the U of I organization. But in terms of University of Missouri, I'm not certain about their specifics. My best advice in that case would be to build a relationship with their financial aid counselor or their financial aid office. Be sure to reach out early and often if you have questions or if you have concerns regarding some of the information they may be giving you, and just make it clear that you're interested and you want to work with them to find the best solution possible for your student. And then in terms of CapEx providing for family accounts, I mean, not really, but the way CapEx accounts work is they're pretty accessible, and there's no problem with students and parents sharing that login information so that the parents can take a look at things and see what other scholarships their students may not be fully considering are available. Different approaches for public versus private universities. So, yeah, a lot of the public universities are a lot bigger, so it can be harder to sort of build that direct relationship with the financial aid office that I was talking about earlier. It can still be done. It just might take a little more effort, or it might not be as effective. Most private universities are on the smaller side, so it's easier to sort of build that relationship. And a big difference as well when it comes down to that final decision and working out those final financial aid offers. Public universities are not willing to haggle over cost as much as a private university might be. With a private university, if you're in a good position, both academically and or potentially athletically, then you can have a little more leeway in going up to that private university's financial aid department and saying, hey, Monmouth College, I know you're offering me this much money, but the guys up in Beloit are offering me $5,000 more. So what can you do for me? And then they may be willing to talk with you about improving that offer or matching the offer of a different school. Public universities are a lot bigger. They don't feel the need to bargain or really compete all that much for students because they sort of have a very easy inflow of students, so you can't do that anywhere near as much. Highly selective schools. So it's more about the size of the school than the selectivity of the school. Again, it's those smaller schools where it's easier to build that direct relationship where you can sort of enter that bargaining phase. Um, Obviously, a really highly selective school is not going to be willing to do that as much because they've got a lot of competition. If someone doesn't like their prices or if someone doesn't like their way of doing things, they've got probably dozens or if not hundreds of others trying to get in who will be willing to put up with those things. So again, highly selective schools, not so much with the bargaining, but never say never. Just some general principles, if there aren't any more questions. After your students have started to apply to schools and have sent in their financial information to the schools they're interested in, they'll start receiving offers, their financial aid offers. Sometimes these will come in physically mailed to the students in the form of financial aid award letters. Sometimes they'll come just as emails, and sometimes they'll just be posted to the student portal or whatever that they used to apply to the college. Just make sure that you keep an eye out for these offers. Make sure that you're getting them in a timely fashion. Most of them should be coming in around this time of year. Around February or March at the latest is when most students should be receiving their financial aid award letters. If you have a student that hasn't received their financial aid award letters from any of the various schools they may have applied to, then you may need to double check and make sure that you've provided all of the documents that the school may require in being able to provide that financial information. They may require more than the FAFSA. They may require extra information. If that's the case, then they'll hold off on sending those award letters until they've gotten all the information they think they need. Regardless, once you have that information, once you have those letters or those emails, or once you've checked on the offers being given through the portal, then you need to sit down and thoroughly evaluate them. You need to be able to compare them based off of what kinds of aid are given in those offers. They'll include loans in the offer. They will include different kinds of in-house and private scholarships that they may have access to. They will include federal and state grants if applicable. And they may also include the federal work-study program that we briefly discussed earlier. Be sure to look from school to school, who's offering the most in grants, who's offering the most in scholarships, who's trying to stick you with the most loans, who's trying to provide the highest amount of federal work-study funds, et cetera, et cetera. It's very important to pay close attention to these specific details because even though on paper a school may look like it has a lower out-of-pocket cost, that school may have achieved that appearance of a lower out-of-pocket cost by including more loans in the offer than scholarships. Obviously, you want to try and go with the package that will award you the most scholarships so that you don't have to go and be saddled with that loan debt for however many years. Of course, at the end of the day, this is all up to your personal discretion. I'm just wanted to give a bit of a reminder and a quick crash course in how those award letters actually work. And of course, as I mentioned before, if you have any questions at all regarding loans, regarding the FAFSA, regarding these award letters, or regarding any of the scholarship information that I talked about today, you can find my contact information on the library website under the College Resources tab or area. But thank you all very much for coming and listening to my presentation.
Thank you very much. This was a great presentation. Learned a lot, so really appreciate your time.
Glad to help.
I'm also going to put the link to the what Joseph was referring to, the college page on the library website. I just put it in the chat if anybody is interested in it, wants to write it down or copy it. You can do that.